Yo, yo, welcome to another video. I haven't done this before. I've wanted to do this for quite a while, a tier list of the LR cells. My initial idea was every single LR cell, but it's like really hard to actually get a picture of all of them, and it is just so many in the game. I have a friend of mine currently. His name is Ryuk. He's helping me out. Um, like he's trying to get a picture of every single one, but that's a video for the future, and it will probably have to be in like multiple parts just because it's so many cells. But today we have all of the free LR cells, and I believe that this is actually a bit more helpful for the average player since you can buy these from the shop. You will need to sacrifice 5,000 like cell promoters for the 50,000 currency, which is like really expensive in the early game, but in the late game, you will kind of just have enough promoters because you can't really use them on anything. Like, for example, I'm on like 15,000 still, and I already bought a ton of LR cells from the shop. But yeah, um, the tiers here are a bit different this time because you can't really rank them meta wise because like factually speaking, like none of these are meta. These are all cells for characters that aren't on meta teams, and the cells also don't elevate them to meta teams. However, they some of these are like incredibly useful for boss fights. Some of these have still pretty good usable passives, especially if you get them in the early game. And some of these you can make like do some fun techniques in like PvP that can work pretty well. And well, some are mid and some are useless. Um, but yeah, um, I will like I have the game open on my second monitor, and I will have to sometimes read the passive because well, it is just a bit impossible otherwise. Or actually, I mean, I could just do it like this and okay, there we go. Change tabs like this. That works. Um, so yeah, the first one that we have is the Arima cell, the red Arima cell. So it's this one right here. This is a very good cell. I mean, the passive is really good if you don't know. Like he has these stacks that he usually gains. This cell makes it so he has them from the start, and you can do an insanely strong turn one nuke with this cell. And it's one of the best ones that you can actually get here, so it definitely belongs into the good passive tier. Then we have the non-killing owl, one of the most broken cells at a time. It was so disgusting when it first released, and it still is very, very strong. And I believe with the new owl cell that is coming, maybe the owl will be playable again. But yeah, people that experienced OG Anteku know how disgusting the cell actually is. And for new players, I mean, it's still a very strong cell. The passive is still extremely, extremely strong. So I mean, it also just belongs into good passive. Um, Assault Cell Centipede is a bit difficult. So the cell, did we not skip one? Uh, okay, maybe I forgot the second owl cell. I would also put it into good passive. But now the centipede cell. So the centipede cell, the passive is extremely useless. Like the damage is just pure ass. However, centipede is a carnival character, and it does give like a lot of CP. So the passive is ass, but we can put it into mid simply because you can use it for CP. Now we have the first Mado cell, which is this one. It's a cell that works in backup. Mado is a very strong CCG backup, and yeah, I mean for that alone, it's gonna go into this tier. And yeah, then we have the Ryoko cell. So it's also a backup cell, and when an attacker character dies, increase all stats for the do that. Yeah, so it's a pretty good cell. This was like pretty strong back when I mean when it released. Some people were still playing Ryoko, and this cell like made the team a lot more solid, and it also like gave some CP to Ryoko, because Ryoko is like very very low CP. But the passive in itself is actually like really really good. Oh, okay, here we have the owl cell. Yeah, it's gonna go here too. Now the Juzo cell. So this one is a bit special, right? So it like saves a teammate from dying, and you can do some very fun things with this cell. I mean, in theory, it acts like a red Tatra blood feud passive. Um, and yeah, I mean, you can do some cheesy stuff with it. I mean, when it released, there were some comms that actually were able to like use it pretty well, and now it's a bit outdated, but you can still do some pretty cool stuff with it. Um, Now we come to Akira Mado's cell, also one of the first ones. Let's read through it. So when the battle starts, grant yourself disruption immunity effect for 1 turn. So I mean, like Akira Mado is useless nowadays, and I mean this is like also pretty useless. Let's be honest. So the first Kaneki cell, when your turn starts, if frenzy is active, damage taken cannot exceed 80% of your max HP for 1 turn. This is pretty decent. While Kaneki Awaken is extremely ass nowadays, the passive is actually really strong. Um, like if we had this on a more like modern unit, this would be incredibly broken. And I mean, if you can get this in the early game, it's probably still strong. So I guess we can put it into mid. Then we have the Toka cell. When dealing damage to an enemy, inflict lethal on the target for 2 turns. So basically, this turns blue red Toka into like a makeshift red Ayato. Just like way worse. Now, while she is completely useless, lethal is actually an insanely strong passive. Um, like a debuff. It's incredibly OP. Um, and I mean, the unit that was able to abuse it the best, and it was like meta for so long, was of course Red Ayato. So I mean, the passive is good, but like she isn't. So I'm gonna put it into mid. Then we have this cell right here. I think it's Itori. Yeah. When an allied strength character uses an active skill, increases their damage dealt based on their skill levels. Yeah. So basically, this is pretty good for PvE. The problem is just that like most strength characters are fairly ass, and there's like way better supports. Um, so it's like hard to actually fit her in the team. The only place where you can like use her pretty well is against Shachi, but there you don't use a strength damage dealer. So it like kind of loses its whole point. So I wouldn't really say it's needed for PvE. I'd put it into I guess with like paired with Red Ayato in the early game, it's insanely strong. But yeah. Then we have, I think this is Noro, yeah. Increases damage dealt to enemies with blood period by 20% when the battle starts, applies to all enemies for 1 turn. So basically, it's just a base 20% damage increase, which in itself is very, very strong. It's just that Noro is, of course, very ass nowadays. Um, and yeah, this is like the speed Noro, it's not with Noro. And yeah, for that reason, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's mid, right? Because the passive is good, but the unit is bad. Um, and it's not like the passive isn't good enough to like make the unit like playable. Then we have this right here for the Mustache Man. For each charge up effect on an allied character, increase basic stats of all allied CCG characters by 6%. So this is actually very strong. A very, very good support passive. Um, the character is just completely useless. Um, but like the passive in itself is pretty good, so I guess it's also again another mid. Yeah, then we have this cell right here of the Freckles girl. After an allied CCG character uses a skill, grant all allied characters a shield equal to 2% of their max HP. That's just useless. Like that's fully neglectable. Like it will even grief you because if enemies have smash, you will just increase their damage dealt and they will just one shot you. Then we have Corona here. Yeah, so basically if you have both units on the shield, on the field, you will get tier 3 cards and attack related stats increase. Um, yeah, I mean the Nashiro one is better. But I mean that they're both really useless. Where is the wait? This is spotless and inky. Okay, it's these two useless. Um, so the new juicer cell in force challenge increase all yeah force challenge. No one gives a shit. Useless. Assault Cell Awaken. In weekly challenge, when your turn starts, gains 1 stack of frenzy, increase the damage to restraining attribute by 60%. So this is actually insanely OP. Like for the challenge where you use speed characters, this is very strong. I think Naki still probably like far out damages him. But the passive in itself is really good, and it's a very strong early on weekly challenge contender, like a very strong unit overall with this cell. And then we have okay this Evow cell for the old Evow. In the Centipede Kaneki Conquest battle, yeah, nobody gives a shit about that. Okay, now one of my favorite ones. Let me find it. Yeah. So, in PvE battles, when using an active skill, additionally loses 10% of your max HP and increases attack-related stats of the ally with the highest initial attack by 10%, and damage of their next active skill by 20%, up to 3 stacks. This is like if you are end game, you need this cell for PvE. You will use Nico for every single boss fight, and it is just incredibly overpowered, like so incredibly overpowered. Um, it will like literally double your points. Like it's so strong. Then we have the Twin Blade. So backup. In PvE battles, increase the basic stats of allied CCG characters by 12%. For every 3% crit rate the caster has, increases crit rate of other allied CCG characters. Um, it's like okay, it's not too good, but I mean the passive is pretty good. Then we have the second Itori cell, point challenge, a weekly challenge to all allies, but as skill. Increase crit, gain power burst. So it's okay, but it's pretty mid actually. It's not really that strong, unfortunately. Then we have this one right here. In chain battles, nobody cares. Then is this the rabbit? Yeah. So this one's interesting. So in the arena, reduces damage taken by allied Antego characters in the first turn by 30%. When allied Antego characters deal damage, reduces the target's max HP. So this is actually a pretty fun cell. So arena also counts like real-time arena, for example. So you can do some fun stuff with it. And I mean, King of Strats from my org showed me like a team once with Rabbit. And I like wasn't able to win despite being like 200k CP above him. So you can definitely do some fun tech with this cell overall. Then we have this one right here in Endless Trial, straight into useless. Then we have Blue Tatra. So when your turn starts, for self and allies who took damage exceeding 50% of their max HP in the previous turn, reduces their next damage taken to 1 and grants them a shield equal to 15% of their max HP. So essentially, it's like an additional block to the one that he already does, like on field. And I mean, a shield of 15% of their max HP is pretty good. So I mean, the passive in itself is pretty good actually. Then we have this guy right here. Is it Hoji? Yeah. Um, Substitution. I'm not really sure what this even means, honestly. When battle starts, for each CCG character you have, grants all enemies one side Scorched. When a CCG character deal damage to enemies, deal additional damage. It's pretty good, actually. Like the passive is pretty strong. Not really sure what substitution also effective means, but in itself the passive is strong. But I mean he's useless, so can't put him any higher than that. Okay, now we have the first Uta cell, this one right here. When your turn ends, if the caster used an active skill this turn, automatically uses all ultimate skill energy cards. For each ultimate skill energy card used. Yeah, this is insanely OP. Um, Especially for the rabbit boss fight. Um, Turns out that this is like also incredibly strong to use. It like makes your team so much more solid because you like find your desired cards more consistently, and the damage dealt increase is insane. Like it is insane. But yeah, then we have this one right here for the old Hinami in PvE battles. Yeah, I mean this is like insanely OP right here, but PvE. In what PvE fight do you like even need that? So yeah. Then we have the Devil Ape one. Backup in Force Challenge. Bam. Okay, this one. In Chain Campaign. Also right here. Okay. This one's pretty good. In PvP, grants all allied Ultra Aid for 1 turn when a battle starts. After allied Anteiko or no org characters use an active skill 3 times, raise the skill level and make the next active skill ignore the target's defense and block rate. And it's like Ultra Aid is like damage dealt increase. So I actually used this myself on my no org. It's a very, very powerful cell. And the Uta, like he's also very, very strong actually. It's very underrated. Um, we have the old red Mado here in backup in PvE, increase the base stat. I mean, yeah, we really don't care about PvE cells. But now comes the red Ayato one, so this is like so broken. So increases lifesteal of all allied Augirichu characters by 40%. Before using active skills, loses 10% of your current HP, removes all buffs, stances, and shields. This can just kill, it can eat charm essentially, like with one active. You just remove the enemy's charm. And causes the skill to deal extra damage equal to 50% of attack. And this is so broken. I think like well, the only thing like holding him back is of course the low CP, but you can't really do anything against that. But like if you don't really have any better options, I mean this cell is so incredibly overpowered. You can definitely use him, or like for your secondary Aogiri, as well. Then we have this one right here. In PvE, for each allied CCG character, yeah, it's a good passive, but the thing is just PvE. We don't really care about that. So we have Shu right here, increases allied no organization characters max HP by 6%, double for self. When taking damage, gains a shield equal to 30% of the damage taken, and grants all no org allies the effect of dealing extra damage equal to 10% of Shu's max HP. The effect in itself is pretty good. I can also see this like being really really useful for force challenge, but I mean yeah, it's pretty decent actually. Let's put it into mid. Then we have Christmas Kaneki in endless trial battles. Bam. Um, this one right here, Mustache Man. When battle starts, gains 1 stack of charge up for each CCG ally in your team. When allied CCG characters use a single target active skill for attacks, deals 210% attack damage to the target. This would be like insanely strong if he was actually a useful unit. Unfortunately, he is not, and those 210% attacks, like it's gonna just hit for 0. Then we have the two Bin Brothers cells. So first we have this one. PvE only increases max HP of allied Aogirichi characters by 16%, block by 12%. After allied younger Bin uses an active skill, removes all lethal effects from all allies and heals all allies. The passive is like really, really good. Um, like really good. But I mean, it's just a shit character. That's the problem. But in itself, the passives are really solid. Um, I guess it deserves mid. Let's look at the older Bin brother. PvE only. Wait, the one before wasn't PvE only, was it? Oh, okay. Demoted, both of you. The second Uta cell. This one is so good. In PvE battles, when dealing fatal damage, fixes the target's HP at 1 and increases the damage the target takes from the next active skill by 15% up to 3 stacks. When your turn starts, increases the skill level of the ally with the highest attack. This is incredibly OP. You definitely need this for PvE. Very, very strong one. Then we have this one right here. Crit rate increased by 50%. After using an active skill, dispels one buff from all enemies. Additionally, for every 10% of current crit rate, reduces crit defense of all enemies by 4% for one turn, capped at 40% reduction. When your turn starts, increases the weak of the enemy with the highest attack by 1. Pretty decent passive, honestly. Like, it's pretty strong. Kaya is incredibly useless. In the early game, she's decent, but like, I don't know. Like, I guess we can put it into mid simply because she's like okay in the early game and the cell is pretty good. Now the Jason cell. In weekly challenge, when using energy cards, increases your next active skill damage dealt by 5% up to 3 stacks. Every 3 times enemy characters using an active skill increases own. So this is pretty strong actually. So strength really doesn't have any good units for weekly challenge. And you can definitely get away with using Green Jason if you have his cell and you have the other PvE cells. I'm pretty sure you can probably still get like a score of 1 million plus. It should be fairly easy actually. But I mean, yeah, for that reason, I guess we can put it into mid. Then we have the second Noro cell. Increases your basic stats by 12% and attack by 8%, taking damage against Brave Charge up to 3 stacks. Brave Charge increases damage dealt by 20%. So it's only his trigger that actually gets a buff from this. And then he has like an AoE trigger. It's pretty strong. I mean, like the first Noro cell, it will just go into mid because, well, Noro is like pretty outdated. But yeah. Then we have one of my favorite cells, the Renji cell. I don't have... Oh, it's the other Renji cell. Ah, I thought he only had one. Because I, of course, I have like one of the Renji cells. I didn't know he had another. When an ally is hit by an enemy's active skill, increases that ally's next active skill damage by 6% up to 3 stacks. Yeah, this is very strong. I mean, Renji is already the GOAT for that game mode, of course, because, I mean, we have this cell already, which is very, very OP. So I guess, I mean, if you have another one on him, it's like even better. So, yeah, definitely belongs up there. Then we have the final one being the Arata Proto one, the second one. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it's Shinohara. Backup when battle starts grants command to all allied skill and CCG characters. Deals extra damage equal to 100% of the caster's basic attack. And when self enters the field as backup, lowers the skills of all enemies to 1. It's pretty decent. For me, it belongs into mid. And yeah, that's it. 23.5 minutes. I guess still ended up being quite a long video for only the free cells. So this will like if I do all of them, I'm definitely gonna have to do multiple videos. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.